This conference will now be recorded.
And what is the purpose of record
Mhm.
producer? Means
Okay,
we create another interface for the user to access it, right?
that's right. Right, yeah. So what we'll today is we also have a recording and we'll share it with other people who haven't joined. So what we shall do is complete all the six today. Okay, regardless of whether people have done or not, we'll complete all of them. Okay, the purpose of record producer is, for example, you have a table. Okay, each table has its own A cells, right? So you have set of audience to whom you don't want to give direct access to these tables. Instead, you still want them to be accessing, or creating a record in that table. Now, how do you do that? You want to help them to create a record. However, you're not going to expose them the direct table. So what you can do is you can create a record producer. It is like a template, right? Like a record producer will have variables, UI policy, client script, and all of that. Like it's like some handwritten form kind of imagine. And in certain government offices or in certain places, what you'll do, you will write in handwritten paper, and somebody will convert them to digital, right? Meaning they'll not scan it. They will key input the values in the system, right? Similarly, imagine the record producer like is like a handwritten thing, and the actual record will be inserted in the original table. So instead of giving them the direct access to the incident table or some other table, what you're doing is you're giving access to this record producer, so that once they fill in up all the forms, we will do a field mapping. Okay, that so and so field will be mapped to so and so field of this table, like that you will do field mapping, and it will create a record in the incident table, change table, or whichever table that you have defined in your record producer. So benefits of this is you're not exposing the table to this user. Second one is, let us say somebody fills in, you can evaluate instead of doing validations in the table, you can evaluate while they fill it up in the form itself. And then you can also tweak the data a little bit, and then when it gets populated in table, it will be modified and populated. So all these options we have it. So these are the benefits of record producer. And you asked for action item number 4, and which one?
Third man.
Whenever user okay, so whenever user record active field changes to false, how do you find whether an active field changes to false or not? You will find it whenever record gets updated, right? What does mean by active field changing to some other active true to false? It means that the record value is getting updated. So anything that you want to do at the time of an insertion or updation, you have readily available business rule. So in business rule, you will write a business rule on the user table, and when to run condition, you will put it as like active changes to false, right? And then, so when to run condition is fine. What does the requirement says? Then identify the list of active tasks assigned to this person. Now in the business rule, you have advanced script option, right? Inside that script, you will write a glide record. You need to glide record to the task table, because task table contains incident change problem, right? We are looking for list of active tickets that are assigned to this person. So active tickets as in all the task tickets. Probably it could be an incident ticket, change ticket, problem. So we will glide record through task table with a filter of active is true, and assign to is current.sysid. Current represents the current user, right? So we will put up an while loop. We will put up an while loop, and what do we need to know? Um, we need to send an email, and we need to also enter a comment in the ticket. So what we'll do is gr.comment is equal to so and so gr.update, so that it enters the comment. In addition to that, you also want to send an email, right? So inside that while loop itself, you will trigger the event which shall further trigger a notification. So what all you have to do is you have to write a glide record in business rule. So you need a business rule, and you need to trigger an event via business rule. So you need an event. So what that event does, that event is going to send an email. So you need to create a notification. So basically you need to create notification event in business rule. These are the things, and these things you have to do in order to accomplish requirement number 3. And you asked for item number 4, right? Whenever change is closed, if it has any change task, send an email, all in one email to the open. Okay. So again, whenever change is closed, how do you identify whether change is closed or not? Possibly through a business rule. So you will write a business rule on change underscore request table. When state changes to closed, that will be the when to run condition. In advanced script, again a glide record. Now you will glide record to the change task table, because we are trying to identify if it has any change task mapped to it. So we'll put glide record of change task table. Parent is nothing but my current record, my current sysID. If it is there anything, then what we are going to do is we will trigger one event. Why one event only? Like we'll put if loop. Why one? Because for every change record, we want to send only one email, right? So we want to send an email. So email can be triggered via event. So here also same. You need to write a business rule event and a notification. But this notification will be little more descriptive. Uh, reason is because in the notification you not only enter the change request details, you're going to enter your change task details as well. So again, it will include another glide record in the notification script I'm saying. This is regard to requirement number 4. Any questions?
No, got it.
Okay, so now what we shall do is I'll just share my screen. Just now I baked up my instance. So what I shall do is I will open up the fix script so that I can look at the record that we had updated on the other day. It will have the all the requirements. Here's my fix script, and also I want to create a separate uh, list. Okay, I will share this updates it across to all of you guys. This is what we had planned, right? So we'll do everything one after the other. We'll start from requirement number 1. Create record producer to insert records in the problem table. So what we'll do is we'll go to problem table and keep it in a new tab, and then uh, you can go to record producers in the left navigation, create new, create a problem. That will be my record producer name, and this is going to create a record in my problem table, right? So I will enter my problem table name here, and then description. Enter the problem details below. Like whatever description I want to keep, I can put it like this. And then meta, I will put it as problem, comma, issue, comma, um, fix, something like that. The reason is because what is meta is that if you use global search, right? If you use this keyword, it's this keyword or this keyword, this will also be, this record producer will also be listed as one of the suggestions. So that's why it's important to have meta. I'll save this up. Now it's just like any other catalog item, but the extra thing is that you will define the table name. Also, you will define field mapping for it. For example, let me create variables. So in order to enter a problem record, we need to identify what are the mandatory fields, right? Because if you don't fill in any mandatory fields, ticket itself will not be inserted. So you need to identify the mandatory fields. For example, problem statement. Okay. issue summary. So first mandatory field is problem statement. So I've given, instead of, I can either given as problem statement itself, or else like in a even more way understandable for the user, I can put it in a different name also. But what is important is I here have a field called map to field. I need to enable this and it will ask you to which field you want to map this. So here I'll say problem statement, right? Problem statement. Okay, like this, I'm going to create some important fields, as in, I'll try to create as many as possible. So the next one, I'll mention it as um, initial reporter, category, and all of that. And this one is a reference field, right? Like similar to what are the details, like this a reference field means here also you'll have to create it as a reference field only. Since the backend name is very big, I'm changing it. So this one I'm going to map it with a field called, let me save it. Okay. Sys underscore user, right? So why am I putting sys underscore user? Because this person details are stored in user table. So I'm going to put a reference to the user table. Here also, if you see, it will be referencing to user table only. Oh, no, no, it is task table, right? So it is not the person. It is about the first reported by ticket, like based on this change ticket or incident ticket, like that. Based on that ticket, this is the source of the problem ticket. So I will change it to task. So I will change the name a little bit. Issue first reported via ticket number. Okay. And then let's create one more variable. Um, that says description. Issue description. Map to field. So this will put it as multi-line text, because we know that the issue description will be always a detailed one. So you can put it as multi-line text. Okay. So here I will map it across description field. Right, so whatever value you input in issue description will be carried and stored in the field called description of the problem table. So we've created three variables so far.
Why we have not given order as 10, 20, 100?
Yeah, we need to give. If we do not give, what will happen is like system will take a random order and will put everything. We need to give. I missed it.
Okay.
Now I've created three variables. So it comes in a random order. There's not a specific order of my record creation or anything, but it is a random order. So what do I do now is I will put up orders. This I'll give 10 and this I'll give 15. Any incremental order. People tend to use it in multiples of hundreds or multiples of 20, something like that. In 15, 20. So summary and then description. So now you could say that the order would have been changed. Summary and then the description. Right? Now,
Use containers
hmm.
still, ma'am.
Yeah, we can use containers for better layout. So all that would have practiced in the normal catalog item creation itself, right? So I'm trying to just bring in the idea. I'm creating a very simple form. For now, problem I should have created possibly like at least nothing less than 10 to 15 variables. But for testing, I only created few variables.
Once use container split for
Okay,
one variable. I
come
done it
again.
on describe, but use
Hmm.
type container split, ma'am, for one variable, means one field,
Okay, sure.
because
Yeah.
I didn't see any change in my formulate.
Okay, sure. I'll show you. So for container split, you do not have to enable this map to field and all, right? It's just a fancy thing. So I'll put container split and I'll put it in order of where I want is probably um, after summary. So I'll put it like 70 in order. Let this get saved first. Now I'll refresh. Okay, I'll bring up a container start and end. Give me another minute. Container start. I'll give it a 5. Two columns alternating sides, okay? Insert and stay. And then the last one would be I will give an order of 30. So when you put container start, end, and split, it's important that you put proper orders. And why a container start is important is that you can develop a container, but that container could be any of these types, right? It could be one column, uh, two column alternating sides, and two columns one side and the other. You understood what is the concept of alternating sides and one side the other? Like let's say you have apple, orange, mango, pineapple are four variables, okay? Now when you put alternating sides, what will happen is apple will be on the left and next one is orange, right? Second one orange will be on the right and third one will be on the left. Fourth one will be on the right. If you put it as one side and then the other, what will happen is apple and orange will come in the left and the next half will come in the right. So that's the difference between these two. Okay, now I had explained you container start. So container end, you don't have to specify anything, insert and stay. Now after this is done, I'll refresh the screen. So without container start, why container split did not work is because in container start only you define whether it is alternating sides or it is a single column or it is one side and the other, right? Without container start, system will not have instructions what to do. So it will leave like a default one column layout. So one column layout is even before it was one column layout, right? Everything coming one after the other. So now after we have put container start and end with the split, you can see that, after summary there was a split. So you could see the issue description pushed to the right. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So we just created a problem ticket. You saw, right? Description. Okay. So this one is a field called issue first reported by. So now we need to map it to first reported by field and then save it. Now let me, what do I do is, I will pull in some variables from here, and so once I submit, what happened is that first reported by issue first reported via ticket number, right? That field value got mapped to this field, and then whatever I had put it in issue summary got printed in problem statement, and likewise, right? Only this much. So what you can do is, in script section, you have the script section, right? So you can put it as current dot, what is this, description. Description is equal to, the description entered by the submitter is as follows. Like that you can put, and then you can bring in the record producer, right? So it's a record producer, so you call it as producer dot, what is the backend name of the description? Backend name of the description is description, fine. Producer dot description, semicolon, right? So what is going to happen now is, the next time I'm going to submit this ticket, instead of creating ticket like this will be same, this will be same, but here alone it will get appended with the text, the description submitted by blah blah blah. Because in my script I'm trying to tweak the data filled by the user and then pushing it, right? So that is how your script section helps you. Right? Says the description entered by the submitter is as follows. Right? So this is one of the use case why you want to use a record producer. Like people fill in something, but you want to tweak it a little, to, like modify it a little before mapping it to the form. Right? Any questions? If not, we will get into requirement number 2. Any questions?
No.
All right. Next one is order guide, right? So order guide is like a menu card. You will not be able to raise a request right away, but instead, like it helps you, serves you way to request multiple items at one go. So we'll put it as new joiner request, and we'll map it to the service catalog. You have concepts called service lab catalog, technical catalogs, HR catalogs. These are bigger category. And the smaller categories, of course, hardware, software, all these office and everything. So I'll put it under office category. OG. Description, I'll leave it as such. Meta, pressure, joiner. Is it recording? Yeah. All of these I'll put. I'm not planning to put any picture or something. You already know things. Right. Now, what is important for us to create is, we need to create catalog items. So what we'll do is, we will create separate catalog items. Maintain items. New joiner would require a email configured, ID card request and all of that. ID card request. Again, this also should match the same service catalog that you kept it for the order guide. So I'll put it as a multi-line text. Any specific requirement to be mentioned entered on your ID card. ID card. Okay, I'll give it like this and give it an order of some 500. And this I'll make it as mandatory as well. Save it. And then next variable I will create it as ID card picture. Okay, this backend name is fine. It's not really lengthy. This also I'll make it as okay. I'll leave it as such. Um, I'm trying to see if there is any field types that will match my requirement. Okay, I'll give it as attachment. Okay. I instead of doing an insert and stay, I did save. So what it will end up? It will end up overwriting. You understood the difference between save and insert and stay, right? What insert and stay does is it duplicates and creates a new record. So instead of doing an insert and stay, unknowingly, mistakenly, I just clicked on save. What happened is it overrid. It overrid my existing values. Now I'm in a place uh, I need to, rewrite this variable again. There's a ServiceNow Chrome plugin extension. Okay. So I just Googled up saying ServiceNow Chrome plugin extension. The first result I got, and under the, it automatically took me to an extension. So I'm gonna give as add to Chrome, add extension, normal Chrome extension that was developed by one of the, approved developers of ServiceNow. So what is the benefit of this is, like if I do Control S, right, it will automatically save my record. This is nowhere to do with the record producer or the order guide. Just like that, I got this reminded of, and I'm explaining you this thing. Right, as you can see, previously we did not have icons like this. Now you can see icons like this, right? So for example, let us say I want to save this. I made a change in this value. I want to save this. What do? I do either click on update or right click save, right? So what I'm right now going to do is, I'm in Mac OS, sorry, I'm in Windows OS. I'll do a Control S. If you're in Mac, you can use Command S. So it will automatically save the record. So there's like hundreds of shortcuts available. It will be very handy when you're developing stuffs. And for screenshots pasting also, it's handy. For example, let me say I take a screenshot of probably this one, okay? So I'll do a control copy, and then I will just click on this header and then paste it. Once I do a control V, it gets automatically pasted. I don't have to actually control V. So when you work in incidents or something, it is easy for you to upload screenshots like that. And these are only two things that you could I had explained, but there are even more, like, hundreds of things available. Probably when you're free, you can look at this YouTube video that he has shared. What are the other things that you could do across? I will remove these. Right. So coming back to the original requirements, now what we have done is we have created one catalog item and we created two variables, right? Um, the variables are like the details to be printed on your ID card and um, ID card picture and all of that. Fine. Let's create one more variable. It will be better. One more catalog item, not variable. One more catalog item. So this time we're gonna say email request. What better can I say? Upon request. Probably cab request. For testing, I'm going to introduce two catalog items under my new joiner request order guide. But in actual, you can even have 10 catalog items, how many ever the management requires. Now I'll put it as tab home to office distance in kilometers. So I'll put it like show help enabled and always expanded enabled. I'll say enter accurate information, otherwise your request could be rejected. Like, this is an extra important note. Instead of saying more information, I'm changing the help tag text to important note, like that. So we're creating only one variable here. Fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create rule bases. So what rule bases does is we will include ID card request, and then we will include what is the new one that we created? Cab, right? Insert and stay. So here we will ask them a question. In order guide, look, in order guide also I can create variables, I can create catalog policies and UI policies. It is not just like an index, but index menu with few questions also. What do we require? We'll keep this as a label. I'll put an order of 10. So it's gonna say what do you require as a first label in my order guide. Underneath I'm gonna give two checkboxes. First checkboxes will be cab request, second checkbox will be ID card request. Insert and stay. So request for cab is my next variable. So third variable I'm going to keep is request for ID card. Card. Insert and stay. Insert and stay means like do not override my existing record. Instead, just create a new record with whatever is the new values that I had filled. So that's what is called insert and stay. Fine. Now that I had created two variables, So what will happen is if I click on try it, it will say my label, right? See, in my order guide, what did I do? I kept a label variable and then two checkboxes variable. So if I choose options, it's going to show me both the catalog items, ID card request and cab transport request, both it's going to show. But I don't want it like this. I want it only when this checkbox is checked. I want to see only when this checkbox is checked. I want my ID card request to be shown, and when cab is checked, I want this one to be shown. I don't want it to be like shown all the time. So how do I do that? So how do I do that is, it is important for me to define it properly in my rule base. If you look at my two rule bases, I did not give any condition. So I've said that without any condition, just show this item like that. As I've said. So instead of that, what I'm gonna do is, this is ID card request, right? When ID request for ID card is true, only then show it, and it show it as a position number one. Like I don't have to keep it like one or anything, just that incremental order. So I'll put it as 10. So for in first position, ID card will be shown, and then for cab, I'll put it as request for cab is true. Only then this will be shown, and even in showing also it will be shown in second position only. Now just watch the screen. If I enable this one, I have enabled only ID card, not the cab thing. So what happens is only ID card details comes up. Now I will enable both. Now both will come. When both are both are appearing, it will follow my order. What is my order? My order is that ID card should come in the first portion, and second portion only cab request. Right now you understood the importance of the position and rule base, right? So these are the variables that we have put. And I had kept an help text, right? And had clicked on a checkbox called always expand, if you remember. So it shows you like this. Now I'll show you one more thing. We will create we will create we will create one more variable. Excuse me for a minute. Sorry guys. Where we okay, I was telling you that let's create few more variables on this order guide. So I'll create a variable called requested for, and this shall be reference. Referencing to user table, and I'll put this somewhere like the first position or something. And I will also create another variable called requester's address. So address is going to be a multi-line text, so I'll keep it a bigger requested for address. And the backend name should not have any special characters other than underscore, and it should not have any space. I'll keep it like 8, insert and stay. So you see an option called Cascade Variables, right? Let me enable this. I'll tell you what is the importance of this cascade variables. So let us say you put it as able tutor here, and then enable this, and move it on to the right. What will happen is all the details you have entered in the first one, it will push on to the next one, unless and until you create same variables. For example, um, my id card request is my variable, right? So I'm going to create a same variable here as well. Requested for, right? So I'll create requested for reference sys underscore user. Okay, now that I have created a variable, so what we will do is we'll click on choose options. So here you could see that for ID card request, I created one variable. For cab transport request, I did not create any extra variables. So the importance of this cascade variables is such that if at all in your order guide, let us say you have a variable both in your order guide and in your catalog item, right? In my order guide, I have a variable called requested for and requested address, and I have 5 variables. In my ID card request, how many? 3 I have. What are the number of matching backend variables names that I have in my catalog item and my record producer? Only this one is matching, right? So whichever is identified as matching, it will get cascaded, right? It will get carry forward. You don't have to write that same piece of information and again and again. So that is what you call it as cascading of variables. This is a very important question when they ask you, when they ask you an interview question in catalog items. They'll ask you what is called cascading variables. Otherwise, they'll say you have filled in some information in your order guide. How do you transport them to your catalog items? So you have to say that we need to cascade them. So they will ask you how do you cascade them. So how do you cascade them is you will have to enable cascading here alone. Just enabling alone does not helps you. You have to make sure with the same backend name of the variable name, you need to have a variable in your order guide as well. Similarly, in the catalog item as well. In the catalog item, if you look at my ID card request, I had created a variable with the same reference type and with the same backend name. So what happened is when I tried to when I filled in up able tutor's name in describe needs, it automatically that value, once I click on next tab, it got populated on the variable value got cascaded to my set of catalog items as well. Wherever it was available, it got copied pasted, which avoids a rework of typing it again and again. So there will be few catalog items. See, for this itself, what do you call this? You call this as new joiner request, right? So you're going to ask these people like 10 to 12 information. For example, your manager name, requester address, your project name, your cost center, all of that, like 10 questions will update. Okay. And what we'll do is we will cascade all the variables to the all the subcatalog items, so that once they click on choose options, they don't have to fill it up again and again. All those values will be automatically coming up with the copy pasted values. So whatever is the extra, that only they need to fill it. So this is an benefit of the cascading variables. Any questions with cascading variables? Okay, I take that as a no. Alright, if there is any question, let me know. Otherwise, I can move into the next one. Any question, guys? Alright, if there isn't anybody online, we'll drop the session for today and we'll join back on Monday again. Thank you, guys.